That was sick.
Yeah.
Must be those triads.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Welcome once again. We are here with the great Xact Ruch, and today we're going to talk about some triads and their importance of, would you just say it's kind of the key, rhythm and lead. It's like, opens the whole world.
It's a foundation. It's a framework for
That's the word I was looking
everything.
for.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to leave Jack's links down below. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel, amazing Patreon, and also we've got a brand new course with Jack, a player's perspective. It's all about triads and why you should know them. Super amazing course. And like you're saying, just real fundamentals, foundational. Definitely learn this.
Lots of good fundamental basic stuff to learn for learning anything on the guitar, really.
Is that kind of
lead?
Is that what opened up the whole world for you, or?
Yeah, it was one of the things. It was like that, and then learning scale patterns from the Cage system, and then just learning a lot of music and learning a lot of songs. But it all ties together. I mean, it's definitely, for rhythm playing, it's a huge thing for visualizing stuff around the fretboard, especially when you want to get away from like your open position chords or just basic bar chords, and you want to start playing fills and parts and different things all over the neck. The triads are really the key to unlocking that. And then when you're playing like a progression like we just played, where you kind of have to follow the chords, you have to track the chord changes, it's super useful to be able to access like the root and third and fifth of each chord, which is basically what a triad is. Right?
So in the course too, he really breaks down major and minor triads. And for those of you who are familiar with the Cage system, you know, I know the Cage system really well, but how you present it, it almost, it's definitely something that I think people should investigate too, because like what you're saying, all those little rhythmic embellishments and just how you play in particular, I can see like, oh, okay, this is definitely something you should get underneath your fingers. Yeah,
well, like all that stuff, all that like Hendrix R&B type stuff, you know, just being able to know, these triad shapes,
So is that all just a C chord that you're doing there? Or
what that's all a C chord, and I'm just seeing these triads. Right? Those are all just different inversions of the root, third, and fifth. Right? So like if I play, there's C, and then the third, and then the fifth. So that's like a root position triad.
That comes from that big
shape, which comes out of this. But then I can move that around. I can play it here. There's the fifth on the bottom, the root in the middle, and the third on top. So it's just a different flipping the order of those notes, which is what an inversion is, right? So, I can flip it around. And like I go over in the course a lot, these string groupings, right?
Yes.
So like learning, since it's a 3-note chord, you have 3 shapes. And you can move it around between the top 3 strings, the upper middle 3 strings, lower middle 3 strings. So there's like, basically there's like 12 different groupings that we cover.
That was the thing that kind of blew me away was, knowing the Cage shape, it still just seems like it's 5 shapes. But when you broke them down by 3 string groupings at a time, you realize just those notes are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, it's almost more, I think Cage system would be like the baby step way into it. And then the triads.
Yeah.
Only because how you present it in the course, it seems like, oh wow, this is really beneficial to learn these 3-note per string groupings on each set of strings.
I can't tell you enough how good it is for visualization when you're playing a progression like that, and you go, okay, these are the chords, and I'm playing a solo, or if I'm playing fills, or if I'm trying to come up with like a counter rhythm guitar part to what you're doing. To be able to look at the fretboard and go, okay, it's going A minor to D major, and to be able to see like there's A minor, there's D major right there, or there's A minor, there's D major right there, or any of these.
Okay, let's take those 2 chords, and maybe you can go spot by spot and kind of show them what you can do in like a couple of different areas and why the triad.
Yeah, I could just take this string grouping I'm going to play on the the D string, the G string, and the B string.
Okay, so if I just sat and vamped like...
Yeah. Right, just like little things
That's
like
awesome.
that.
So if we did that same thing and now you just didn't stick to one area, you just moved around. It's crazy how much like damage you could do just knowing that little amount. I mean, obviously it takes work to be able to do it. But if I just play that and then you just kind of coasted everywhere, did like the sixths kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can do that.
Ready? 2, 3, 4.
Right, just moving that around.
Do me a favor and show them maybe in like 3 groups of how you would see the A minor and then the D.
Well, I'm just kind of seeing where the nearest triad is to wherever I am. So if I'm playing A minor here, I can move up there to D major. If I'm playing A minor right there, I can move here, right? And right, I can just move that around. And you don't have to go up. I could go down. You know, I can just move it around different ways. So just seeing like there's like an A minor triad right there, but I can just play the outer 2 notes.
Yeah.
Play like, and then I can move that.
Right.
And there's that. Right. So if I'm playing. Right, or I could play.
That guitar sounds freaking amazing.
Right, and
playing's killer.
And there's like, so just moving it around and being able to see those quickly.
Okay.
And kind of know, yeah. So
can we take the progression we started with and then do the same thing? Just kind of show them spot by spot, but kind of call it out. I'll go much slower through the progression and then kind of just be able to point out.
Yeah.
Ready? 2, 3.
So I'll play A minor right here. Right, then I can move right here to D major. Then I can go right there's G major to C major. I can keep going up. A minor, D major, G major, C major. Right.
Now, if you were to solo and use that in context.
Yeah, okay. I'll start back here. Just like simple chord tones.
Nice. It's like magic.
Right. That's just, I mean, that's really simple.
Sure.
Just tracking chord tones. Right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would be super happy just to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Because like at that point, you're you're almost comfortable in any situation. Like if somebody called you up to jam, and you're like, I don't know to play that chord progression, but you can see those chord shapes. You could do something simple like that and still be
well, it comes up a lot. You know, like it comes up a lot if you're playing a song that has a chord like that progression right there. Is kind of all in the key of G major, but since we're kind of starting on A minor, you tend to kind of think of it as like an A minor progression.
Okay.
And that D major isn't within the key of A minor. So, you know, you need to be able to kind of address each chord and think about it. And there's tons of songs like that, tons of progressions where that kind of stuff comes up. And you might be cool cruising along playing your pentatonic blues stuff or whatever, and then, or major scale stuff, and then that chord comes and you're like, what do I do?
Right.
So that's where it's really helpful to be able to see triad shapes.
Okay.
And go, okay, that's how I can outline that chord.
Got it.
And then once you get a simple thing like just landing on the third of the chord when that chord comes, it opens your ear up to more ideas and more things, and you can take that and expand on it.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is we jammed another progression earlier that was more of a typical progression, but it's like, oh, okay, that's how I can use that to kind of break out of just pentatonic playing and start to get into at least more melody. You know, like if I played that, what did I do? It was like an E. What would you do if I did that and I was like number one guy just kind of strumming through stuff?
Yeah, and I wanted to come up with the rhythm part.
Yeah, embellishment stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally pick. So like first order of business would be find your triads, right?
Okay.
So if we're playing E major, like I'll just pick one. If I just play that, all on the, what is that? The 9th fret of the D, G, and B string. So I can go, there's my E, there's my B. I can either go up here for my C sharp minor, or I can go down here.
Oh, right.
I have different options. I can go there. What was the last chord? A. I can go to A here or here. So I could go.
Right.
Right. So that could be the catalyst for coming up with a part, and then just finding a cool rhythmic motif to go along with what you're playing. And then from there, I can add all these little movements within the chords. So if I wanted to, like, if I'm playing that and I wanted to hammer on to like the third.
Exactly. Well, you know, what's really cool about it is you realize that all the chords are so close, and that oftentimes there's just like maybe one note that's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And that's the really cool thing, to be able to see that, you know, this third of E is just a half step away from the root of A.
Right.
See those little connections. The root of E is just a half step away from the third of B. So yeah, and I mean that could be, you know,
totally. Get your delay on, be Coldplay,
and things like that, like C sharp minor shares two notes in common with A, so you could just keep that going.
Oh, for sure.
Right, and find common tones like that. So that's great for
let me play some of that, and I'll just kind of cycle around, and then maybe just show them different styles that you can do over the top of that. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that was, all kinds of different things.
That's amazing.
With the Triads.
All right, so we are going to leave a link down below, a heavy discount on the new course. Again, it's a player's perspective, the second one with Xact. And I'm going to tell you, you're definitely one of my favorite players in town. The cool thing about it from a learning perspective is there's nothing at all intimidating on any of his courses that he does. It's all melody and it's all really those things that are completely usable. You know, I think a lot of times in lessons, it's like, oh, it's almost like infotainment. You know, it's like, oh, that's really cool. But his stuff is immediately applicable and it's really suitable, even though, you know, you're going to have to do homework, right? To be a good player, you have to put in the time, but it's all immediately applicable stuff that you really could do at any level. So make sure you check that down below. I'm going to leave links there. And then I'm also going to leave his links for his YouTube channel and check out his Patreon as well. Cause you do weekly Patreon, right?
Oh yeah.
Tabs, all that stuff. So the course comes with tabs, jam tracks, all that stuff as well. So make sure you check that out. It helps fund this whole thing. Players like you coming back in, which is great. I get guitar lessons because of you guys. All right. Thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time.